Raising a flock of a large amount of chickens is honestly really easy, and it doesn't take that much time in your day to do. So I highly suggest, if you don't already have chickens, then you shouldn't be afraid to get them, because they're not going to take over your schedule and be all too time consuming. When you actually get chicks and you start to raise them, they're a little more dependent on you. They don't have their mama hen, but once they're more grown up, like you can see all of our chickens in the back, they honestly are pretty self-sufficient, can do a lot of things on their own, and are pretty smart animals, if you could believe it. So we're going to break down what a daily routine actually looks like here at our homestead of raising over 30 chickens, including some guinea fowl as well. And what it actually looks like, because you're going to be surprised about how you can actually do this at your home as well. And the first thing that we usually do is make a cup of coffee and eat our own breakfast. And I say this because we actually have an automatic chicken coop door that will automatically open for the chickens, and they have this whole run that they can be in for the morning. So we don't have to worry about getting out there pretty quickly, because it's automatically, when the sun goes up, the automatic chicken coop door will go up and let all the chicks into the run. They can go up on any of the bars that we have for them, any of the fun stuff that we have going on there. They can start to enjoy some of the vitamin D from the sun and eat any little buggies that may have crawled into the run overnight. So really don't have to do much there. Although once we're ready to bear out in the cold, we will go out and actually open up the run door. And this is where I'll actually start to check on my chickens. I'll do a quick scan, make sure there was no predators that could have gotten into our coop overnight, anything that could have happened, anything that could have, maybe a chicken fell off a height and could have hurt itself. There was maybe a fight between them. Most of the time there is nothing wrong, but I'll just visually assess. I'll see if there's any food that needs to be filled, any water that needs to be filled, bedding that needs to be added, any hay that should go into the nesting boxes. And if there are any eggs at this time, I will go ahead and take them out. But at this time, usually I'm just generally assessing the area. And if there is any food or water that we don't have enough of, then I will go ahead and fill it. So both our food and our watering systems are automated systems. And we've done this by just getting pretty big barrels of items and making an automated system around it. We have a bunch of videos on how to do this, so I will add them down below, or you can just look up our channel and automated watering system, automated food system. But this really makes our lives so much easier. It makes it so that really only one day on the weekend, or sometimes even every 2 weeks, we need to do something in regards to their food and water. And what we will also do is, during this time, we like to use a layer mix. So we will fill their food with a nice layer mix, making sure that they have enough water that they can really drink all day. We give them free water, free food, and sometimes we will give them some chicken treats. We will give some grub worms to them. We put a lot of our kitchen and garden scraps into the coop as well. So if it is the summertime and we're doing some stuff in our garden, then I will take any weeds or things that I'm pulling from there, throw it into their run. I'll also do the same with any chicken scraps from the kitchen. Right now I do have some old stale bread that I threw in there that they are going after, and they're just loving life. I do like to keep all of the scraps inside of the run. I don't like to put it inside the coop, because I like to keep it more clean in there, not get food too much, so you don't get mice or rats or snakes or anything like that. So I'll keep it out here, but I keep it in the run so that they know that this is where their food comes from. They are going to get some bugs and stuff on the outside, but they should always come back to their coop and run in order to get fed. And I think that's really important to train your chickens, because they're going to know that this is where they're getting food, water, and they should be coming back to every single day, especially if you free range your chickens and they like to wander the property. The next thing to think about is having a clean coop or home for your chickens. So we actually use the deep layer method here at our homestead, which means that starting off in the spring, we will add layers and layers of bedding throughout the year and then build it up. So we don't actually clean it, we will just turn it. Most of the time time the chickens will actually scratch at it, so they're doing a lot of the work for you, but usually every few days you'll just need to come in there and turn it a little bit, but we'll add it throughout the year. And then this way in the winter, there's a nice thick layer of bedding that's already starting the composting process, so it will keep the coop pretty warm. And we've noticed that by doing this, we don't have to provide any external heating for our chickens. And we've also noticed that it keeps our chickens laying a lot longer into the winter. There's some chickens that honestly laid all winter. We didn't provide any additional lighting or heating for them, but because of that composting of the deep layer method, they were just warmed up by that, and it creates a lot less stress throughout the year because we really don't have to clean out our coop on a regular basis. We're just making sure that we're churning it, and you can just do this with a shovel or pick or anything like that. Another thing that we'll look at is making sure that generally all of our nesting boxes are pretty clean. So usually I'll go in and scan through those and clean them out. We keep our nesting boxes with just a layer of hay. And sometimes if they're all in there, sometimes they'll all go after like one nesting box. They'll have a bunch of eggs. Somebody will sit on an egg, it will crack and it will get dirty. Or if it's a rainy day, they'll go in and then it will just get dirty. So we'll clean that out. Or just replenish with additional hay if it's kind of gotten lower. And that's really the only thing that we do in regards to cleaning our coop. If you don't use the deep layer method, I definitely suggest thinking about it. There's so much videos that we've done about it. We really love doing it. We've done it for 2 years now, and it just makes raising chickens a lot easier. Now, I also think about actually collecting our eggs. So my one tip with collecting eggs is early and often, or I guess that's 2 tips. But the earlier you can collect your eggs and the more often you can, it's going to be a winning strategy. So usually in the morning when I do come out to let out the chickens, I will collect the eggs. And then around lunchtime, I'll usually come in and collect the eggs again. I do work from home, so it's really easy for me to go in multiple times. But on the weekend, if we're really busy or if we're both traveling for work, then we won't go in as often. Maybe just one time a day will do, and maybe usually around like noon or a little later if you're gonna do it just once, because they're gonna lay their eggs in the morning as well. Beyond that, it's really just making sure that your chickens have a good environment. Chickens are social animals. They'd love to see you pop by at certain parts in the day. They love to be able to do dust baths. So giving them the ability to have a dust bath, activities, different things that they can go up on and areas that they can climb and hide under is gonna be key to just raising a happy and healthy flock. But there isn't going to be too much that you need to do until the end of the day. And at the end of the day, for the most part, our chickens are going to go all back into the coop by the time it's like dusk, especially in the winter. They're in the coop pretty early on, and our automatic door will just close everything up for them. But usually right before dinner or after dinner, depending on the time of year it is and what time we're eating, we will go ahead and herd all of our chickens into the coop and close up the chicken run. This way they're safe from any predators should anything come at dusk, any coyotes or fox or whatever's in your area. They're going to be safe and contained, and then the automatic door will close once it is a little bit later than sundown. And for the most part, all the chickens are just gonna go into the are just gonna go into the coop, find themselves a post to go on and clonk out for the night, making sure all the lights are out and they still have food or water, which you've already done throughout the day. But for the most part, it really doesn't take a long time, probably 10 to 20 minutes per day, and that's if you actually have to do a lot of activities, but it's just a couple minutes. So if you don't already have chickens and you're thinking about what type of time commitment this is going to be, I really don't think it's going to be that much of a time commitment, regardless of whether you have 2 or 10 chickens. It's really just making sure that you create the space for them and you raise them to be good chickens, and your life is going to be really easy. I wish you the best of luck in raising your chickens, and we'll see you guys again next time. Bye.